As we approach Ramadan, and I'm aware that today, inshallah, we have a lot of our young friends, young children, mashallah, on the Easter holidays. We are joining this Jum'ah together. And we need these reminders ourselves all of the time. I want to ask all of us a very simple question today. Check if you know the answer. The answer is, philosophically you can say, but it is to firm and confirm and establish our yaqeen and our faith more, to fortify it, to renew it as we go into these blessed days and months, or the month of Ramadan. The question is, why should I worship Allah? If someone asked you, if your child asked you today and said, Abu, Daddy, Mom, why should I worship Allah? What's the reason? It's a question that you may be asked, and you need to know the answer to this question yourself. Because as Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam is recorded in the Quran to say to Allah, Ya Allah, that is it possible that this bird or this animal can be brought back to life? And so he said, this is just for the confirming and affirming of my heart, for further yaqeen. And so the answer to that question is, we'll answer it together. Allah Azza wa Jal gives the answer to this question in the Quran. Okay? There are a few scenarios. When we ask the question, how did we come into existence? How did the world come about? Okay, there are not many possibilities. There are some. Option number one, that the world created itself. Can something create itself? Can this phone make itself? It's not possible. It's not logically possible. It's not realistically possible. Okay, it did not create itself. Okay, that's fine. So the next option is that there was nothing, and then all of a sudden that nothing created the world. Can something come from nothing? Something, a house, a home, a person, a phone, a car. Can it come from nothing, from just emptiness? That's also not possible. So we cannot create ourselves. The world cannot create itself. Nor can nothingness and emptiness create the world. So Allah says, Am khuliqu min ghayri shay. Were they created from nothing? Am humul khaliqun. Or did they make themselves? Third option is, Am khalaqu as-samawati wal ard. Did they create the heavens and the earth, which then created them? You know, there's a very beautiful story of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam when he was in a discussion with the king of the time, the oppressive ruler of the time. And so the ruler says, I give, qala, ana uhyi wa umit. I give life and death. So he got some people, killed them, and let others go. So then Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam said that Allah brings the sun from the east, so you bring it from the west. Meaning, can you change nature? Can you change the world? Can you change the sun and the moon and its orbit? فَبُهِتَ الَّذِي كَفَرَ. He had to stay quiet. He had no answer. So the point being is that we did not create ourselves. So that means there was a creator. Logically speaking, philosophically speaking, there has to be a creator. Next question is this creator one or two? The answer is, it has to be one creator. Because the meaning of the word God and creator and Khaliq and Allah in and of itself means one. It has to be one. If there is another one, then the uniqueness of being God doesn't exist anymore. Does that make sense? God has to be uniquely one. Furthermore, if there was more than one God, there would be ruins, there would be problems, there would be fighting in the heavens and etc., as the Quran also states. But in and of itself, to be the omnipotent, to be the all-powerful, the most powerful, to be the omniscient, the all-knowing, the most knowing, there can only be one, because that is the most, the highest, the ultimatum. And so in and of itself of the word God and Allah is that He is the final, He is the greatest. So Allah has to be one. Okay, that's fine. So there is a creator, and that creator is one. What's that got to do with me? The question might come. All right? Well, it's got to do with you, because that same creator, who is in his wisdom, made this world into a synchronized form. You see, for example, there is rules in nature. The way your body cooperates with one another, the way your brain and your blood and your heart and your liver and your lungs, the way the sun and the moon are in symphony, the way the trees and the water and everything works in a very beautifully organized way. It shows that there is intellect in it, there is a plan in it, there is a form in it. Okay. It does not make sense that this creator, this Allah of ours, is going to make this amazing world for no reason. If you have a good friend, an intellectual friend, a clever person, right? I'll give you an example. For example, someone like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk, okay? Very, very known people, known to be very clever people, right? Or even Bill Gates. To suppose that they are going to go and build something very, very big, like, for example, Tesla or Amazon or Microsoft, for no reason. Does that make sense? It would not make sense. No one does anything for no reason. We don't go to work for no reason. I'm not standing here for no reason. There is a reason why I'm doing this. And so for Allah to create all of this for no reason, it does not suit Allah. Because Allah is intelligent. Allah has got the ultimate intellect and knowledge. So there has to be a purpose. Next question, what's the purpose? Well, the purpose, Allah has told us what the purpose is. How do we know what the purpose is? Well, Allah is telling us in His revealed books that I have sent prophets as messengers to you. Prophets in your shape and in your form, so you can understand them, relate to them. They can explain to you, you can explain to them. Allah is saying in His own kitab, Quran, and it said in the previous books that I have not created you for no reason. أَفَحَسِبْتُمْ, did you think that Allah made you for no reason? أَنَّمَا خَلَقْنَاكُمْ عَبَثًا, that we created you for no purpose whatsoever. وَأَنَّكُمْ إِلَيْنَا لَا تُرْجَعُونَ, and you will not come back to us. فَتَعَالَى اللَّهُ الْمَلِكُ الْحَقِّ. This is not possible. Allah says in the Quran also that أَمْ نَجْعَلُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا. In this world we see people that are doing good deeds and bad deeds. Some people are harming others, others are benefiting. For us to imagine that this amazing creator who made us and everything around us is just going to let this be. Some are oppressing, some are being oppressed, and this is just going to be okay all the same in the end, is nonsensical. It doesn't make any sense. It's not logical. And so there has to be judgment. There has to be a result. There has to be a calculation. There has to be fairness. And so therefore this life, what we do in it, there is a purpose. And Allah explains that purpose. He says, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ, that I have not made you except to know me, to recognize Allah, to worship Allah. To know Allah is our purpose. Allah is not asking for you to give up everything in your life just to be in the masjid all day. No. Allah is saying, live your life, fulfill your needs, fulfill your desires and what you want to do, fulfill your goals and your aspirations. Do what you want to do, but do it according to some guidelines. And these guidelines are actually good for you. You might be thinking, Khatib Sahib is talking about something very basic, but look, in the basicness is where the problems often come. Young people get confused with this stuff sometimes, and then they have all these other thoughts that come and cloud their thoughts, and then slowly we have doubts being created. It is very, very important to know answers to questions like these. These are fundamental. Why should I worship Allah? Well, this is why, because Allah is there. Allah has created. Allah has made us for a purpose, and Allah has asked us that, or told us that this is our purpose. That we should live according to the way that He's shown in the Quran and in the guidance of His messenger, the messengers that have come, and the final of them is our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. وأقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. أحمد الله حمد الشاكرين ونصلي ونسلم على النبي الكريم محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. وبعد. The beauty of it all is, the best part of it is, okay, the best part of it is that when we do what Allah asks us to do, for example, salah, for example, fasting, for example, zakat, for example, hajj, for example, kindness to your parents and to your children, okay, this is not actually benefiting Allah, because Allah doesn't need our benefit. He's Al-Ghani. You can't benefit Allah. Allah is too rich by Himself. Allah has got angels in prostration and sujood and ruku' for millions and millions of years in numbers that we don't even know. So Allah doesn't need me to go to sujood and worship Him. We do this for our own benefit. There is a principle in our Islamic law and in Sharia. Anything that Allah has told us to do is actually for my own benefit. What that means is salah that I pray 5 times a day is actually benefiting me in this life and in the next life. Sawm and fasting that I will do, yes, it will be hard, but it will actually benefit me in this life and in the next, as will hajj, as will zakat. And this instruction is not coming from some expert from some university over there. No, this is coming from the man that, not from any man, but from the Almighty, Allah Azza wa Jal. This is not any man-made instruction. This is the instruction of the one that created you. The instruction, the guidance is there for us to benefit in this dunya and in the akhirah. And anything that Allah has forbidden is actually bad for you. Take the example of murder, of alcohol, of fornication, of drugs and intoxicants. All of this stuff is actually bad for you in this dunya and in the akhirah. May Allah give us all understanding and give us the ability to follow the guidance of the beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allahumma ighfir lil-muslimina wal-muslimat wal-mu'minina wal-mu'minat. Allahumma taqabbal minna innaka anta as-sami'ul 'alim wa tub 'alayna. يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. اللهم بلغنا رمضان، اللهم بلغنا رمضان، اللهم تقبل منا، اللهم ألف بين قلوبنا وأصلح ذات بيننا يا رب العالمين. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. اللهم يا الله ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. وصل اللهم وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وأقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله.